Welcome to the Criminal Defense Advocate channel. I'm attorney coach James Fifelski. I started this channel after turning over the new year into 2024 because I have seen an ever-growing need to support, to motivate, to encourage, to assist, to mentor and coach other defense attorneys who are out there in the trenches fighting for justice day in and day out. I have seen a growing need for support amongst us, the defense bar, because I see an increasing and growing government, the bureaucracy of the federal government in the United States, as well as the increase in the size and control of many state and local governments. And what happens when that occurs is that government often thinks it knows best as far as how we live our lives, what we should do and not do. And also, when government grows, there is a tendency to make more laws. And what happens when the government, whether it's the federal or the state or the local government, makes more laws? It makes it harder for the rest of us to navigate life without breaking some law, whether it's a criminal statute or an administrative regulation. We have seen more and more individuals and business owners unintentionally violate administrative regulations that can cost them thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines and penalties, ultimately sinking their business, which is their livelihood, all because the government has gotten bigger and taken more control over our lives. Now, I'm not saying that government is a problem, but what I am saying is, at the end of the day, government is made up of people that are no different than you and I. They don't have any particular specialized knowledge or lock on the truth as far as what is best for humanity than you and I do. And so in the legal system in which we as criminal defense attorneys work day in and day out, whether it's in the United States or the United Kingdom or any other democracy where the rule of law is key, you and I have so much power and impact that we can make a difference in rebalancing the weight of government upon the lives of us as individuals and of other people who are non-lawyers, the people that we represent. I have become more and more fired up about fighting for justice and about motivating, about coaching, about assisting and supporting my fellow criminal defense attorneys because our government has gotten so big. And it is vital that we, the citizens of the United States, you, the citizens of other democratic societies, if you're a defense attorney, understand how much power you really have to make a difference, to shift the balance so that government doesn't take control from our lives. Let's face it, government is nothing without the people. We the people, for the people, is what our founders talked about in the United States of America back in 1776, at the founding of our country. And at this point in time, in 2024, I think it is more important than ever that we stand on the strong foundations of truth and justice and equality and believe that we as criminal defense attorneys can really make a difference in protecting the fundamental liberties that have made our country great and that make other democratic societies great. Because there is always a tendency for power and government control to try to take that away from us citizens. And you and I, who are defense attorneys, who worked hard through law school to get a law degree, to then pass the bar, become licensed attorneys so that we could get out there and do what other non-attorneys can't do, which is fight in the trenches, to fight for someone's legal rights, to fight to protect somebody's constitutional rights, to fight to stop bad police work that is either prejudice or lazy or wants to take shortcuts in the name of simply having power. We are the ones who are the best check and balance to protect society from big government intruding into our lives to take over control, to take over our lives, to tell us how to live our lives, when you and I are in the best position to do that. That's why I am fired up at the start of 2024 to advocate for criminal defense attorneys, to advocate for the power of the criminal defense bar, because ultimately, while there are a lot of lawyers who do a lot of great legal work in the justice system, when it comes to criminal defense attorneys, those people that secure our most fundamental right to liberty, to freedom from incarceration or jail or work program or probation or parole, you and I are at the very end of the stopgap between a society that remains civilized and respects the rights of its citizens, or a society and government that takes control of its citizens and violates the fundamental rule of law that allows us to trust in the power of government. Now, I'm not here to get political, but I am here as a criminal defense attorney who's been in the trenches for more than 20 years now. I started out as a youth minister, working in the church, helping youth that were troubled, that were struggling, who needed hope and guidance. And then I found my way to law school because I wanted to make more of an impact. And after having gone through legal problems myself as a teenager, being arrested multiple times, going to jail, having to go to court, understanding what it's like to get that knock on the door, police, open up. I remember that feeling to this day, and it actually brings me right back to that moment in time when that occurred to me when I was probably just 14 years old. And as a criminal defense attorney, now I can use the skills, the knowledge, the tools, the techniques that I have to help people who have found themselves on the wrong side of the law, so to speak, but in many cases, unjustifiably so, or only as the result of some illegal police conduct. And so I get so fired up to want to protect people from the long arm of the government, especially when it's wielded unfairly and unjustly and only as a desire to control. So if you are interested in growing with me, if you are interested in getting support as a criminal defense attorney, if you are looking to build community with other criminal defense attorneys that are like-minded, that are willing to go to bat for the underdog, then I want you to join me on this channel. I am going to challenge myself to release regular trainings, videos, support, and encouragement, because I know how difficult it is in the trenches, especially when you and me as defense attorneys are often looked down upon, even though we are the very people, when someone inadvertently finds themselves on the wrong side of the law, that they need to call to seek help from. So let's encourage each other. I want to encourage you. I want to help support you in this new year, 2024, so we can make a difference, so we can truly understand the power that we wield as defense attorneys and strengthen each other in the process of becoming better attorneys, to become attorneys who excel, who are successful because we make more of a difference in people's lives than someone who just wants to go to their job as an attorney to put in their 9 to 5 or their 9 to 6 and go home and stop thinking about it. Being a criminal defense attorney is something that I'm very passionate about, and I'm sure you are. And if you have not yet found the spark, the flame within yourself that can propel you to higher heights as a criminal defense attorney, then I want to encourage you to follow this channel, to subscribe, to like, to share the word, because we are uniquely situated to do the cleanup work of society that most people don't see, most people don't understand. Non-lawyers think we are often beneath other attorneys. But you know what the truth is? That we are the primary protectors of a just and civilized society. I often think back to somebody like John Adams, one of our founding fathers and the second president of the United States, who himself was a lawyer and who himself defended the British soldiers after the Boston Massacre. And if you just think for a moment about how much of a tinderbox Boston was at the time between the British, who were seeking to maintain control over the American colonies, and those citizens who wanted freedom from the British at that time in the early to mid 1770s. Think about this. John Adams believed in the rule of law so much that he fought and defended the rights, the legal rights of the British soldiers who were accused of murder and of injuring civilians. And if you get a chance to read the transcripts of some of those trials, it's amazing. And it's amazing because it's such an awe-inspiring part of the foundation of our country, the United States of America, was somebody like John Adams, who was bold enough to be unconventional, who himself was strong enough in his character to take it on the chin when even his cousin, Sam Adams, was at odds with him, was upset with him for defending the British soldiers. John Adams understood a deeper principle in a civilized society is to protect the legal rights of everyone, no matter who they are, where they come from, what they represent. If we have a rule of law that must constrain the governing body from punishing one person, then it must be constrained to not punish another person who might be a different color or a different race or gender or nationality. John Adams was bold and courageous enough to stand on principle and truth in order to fight for the legal and constitutional rights, pre-Constitution, but the legal rights of the British soldiers, and the rest is history. But I often go to John Adams for inspiration, and there's so much good stuff you can read about him. In any event, I hope that I can be of service to you, my fellow brothers and sisters in the criminal defense bar. My goal here is to raise up the bar for all of us so that we can grow in our success, grow in our passion and motivation, and grow in a sort of professional power that gives us more confidence to go out there and fight the good fight for justice, no matter what obstacles we encounter. Because I firmly believe that when we are more passionate about the kind of service we provide to our clients, we provide better services, we become more excellent attorneys. That ultimately brings us more clients because more people want excellence and are willing to pay for it than they do mediocre representation. Let's raise the bar and support each other in raising the bar so that we can all make the criminal defense bar a stronger coalition to fight for justice, equality, for truth, for respect of human dignity for each and every one of our clients, so that ultimately the criminal justice system, not only in the United States, but across the world, in other civilized democratic societies, in other places where they're working towards democracy, can find fulfillment and strength and support and passion, so that ultimately we can make this world a better place for everyone who lives in it. Subscribe and like the Criminal Defense Advocate channel. I am excited to see where we're going to go this year. I want to encourage you again, go make this day the best day you can in your practice and in your life, because you are a criminal defense advocate.